There's only room for one nation state to buy up 20% of the network. And obviously, I think it should be the United States. I think it will be the United States. It's a way for us to enrich ourselves and emerge as a creditor nation in a matter of a decade. It's also a way for us to ensure that we're the economic leaders in cyberspace and the digital economy for the next 100 years. And if we do that, every one of our allies will follow us, and then all of our enemies will end up having to buy into the network once it passes 10 or 20 million a coin, and they will enrich us.
The next 7 days will make millionaires. Watch today's whole video or risk forever missing out. It's times like this when millionaires are made. And it's easy to tune out during bearish times in the market, like right now. But don't tune out. Tune in. April 2nd, of course, is the big day, Trump tariff day. Expect volatility. We'll see what happens. But one thing is clear. The market is close to a big trend change to the upside. Liquidity is coming back. Some analysts think that Bitcoin has already bottomed. Way more analysts agree that we are in the bottoming zone, which this is a very good thing. It feels bad to buy crypto right now. There's so much bearishness. There's so much negativity. Hey, that's usually a good sign. Actually, think about how different things are for crypto nowadays than ever before in crypto's history. Crypto will skyrocket again, I'm sure, for many reasons. One, the biggest financial players on the planet support it.
The question is, could you see a 2 or 5% allocation? I was with a sovereign wealth fund. That was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Should we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, but it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 per Bitcoin.
Two, the most powerful country with the biggest capital markets in the world support it.
You're embracing crypto. Very different from the previous administration. Strategic Petroleum Reserve like for crypto?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to do something great with crypto because we don't want China or anybody else, and not just China, but others are embracing it, and we want to be the head.
Three, so many members of Trump's administration own it, support it, whether we're talking about Paul Atkins, the new SEC chair.
Since 2017, I've led industry efforts to develop best practices for the digital asset industry. I've seen how ambiguous and non-existent regulation of digital assets create uncertainty in the market and inhibit innovation. A top priority of my chairmanship will be to work with my fellow commissioners in Congress to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach.
Scott Bessent, the new Treasury Secretary.
Everything's on the table with Bitcoin. I've been excited about the president's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of crypto's about freedom. And the crypto economy is here to stay. I think that everything's on the table with Bitcoin. And to me, one of the most exciting things about Bitcoin is for a generation of investors who maybe post the great financial crisis have been looking for investment opportunities, or maybe they'd soured on markets. Crypto is bringing in young people. It's bringing in the people who haven't participated in markets, and having a market culture in the U.S. and people believing that markets work for them is a centerpiece of capitalism.
Howard Lutnick, the new Commerce Secretary.
The asset of Bitcoin will just, as it becomes more accepted, it will become more valuable. I have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin. And it will be billions.
I was going to say, so next year when you come back and we'll do this again and you'll be a Bitcoin billionaire.
Every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer.
And so many others besides the ones I just named. I think Michael Saylor has real insight here. As we know, he's very close to the Trump administration, has been for years.
I've known Michael Saylor for 20 years. I think I even said to Michael Saylor in the early years, Michael, I don't get this stuff. I mean, I know you love Bitcoin. I don't get it. If I can't feel it, if I can't see it. If you want to talk about a great champion for this industry, it's Michael Saylor. That guy deserves all the credit in the world. There's very few people who are smarter, and there are very few people who are better cheerleaders for an industry that clearly he believes in. He's He's a national treasure to the United States, and frankly, he's a national treasure to this world.
Michael Saylor knows the U.S. is making big global moves under this new administration. The strategic Bitcoin reserve, it's coming in a huge way, and actually what Michael Saylor describes right here, I believe that there's a good chance Trump actually does it just like this. You tell me what you think.
Our enemies would hate us, but our allies would complain too. And the U.S. would make $100 trillion in a heartbeat.
You said people should sell their gold to buy Bitcoin. That's what the act proposes. How should the government be thinking about this, in your view?
Gold is a shiny, dead rock. Sell it all. You really want to, if you want to elevate U.S.'s economic leadership in the world, there are two very simple strategies. Dump the gold and buy Bitcoin, because you simultaneously demonetize the asset held by your enemies. Who owns the gold, right? You just sell it all and demonetize gold once and for all, put a stake in its heart, and buy Bitcoin, and you get 25% of the Bitcoin network for free. Free. But it's better, right? You could just print the money and buy Bitcoin and keep the gold, but it's so much more intelligent to demonetize your enemy's network and everybody else's network. You might as well drive gold from a $20 trillion asset to a $4 trillion asset, devalue the assets of gold held by every non-US entity, drive Bitcoin to the roof, and then have 25% of the Bitcoin network forever.
Before we get back to Bitcoin and crypto generally in 2025, I think a big move is on the horizon. I do have a price prediction I want to get your thoughts about coming up later in this video. But first, let me highlight this altcoin project called Legacy Network and their token LGCT. We've partnered with Legacy Network today to get this project on your radar, and this is an example of a crypto project with actual utility and actual use case going on. Now, their big news is that the LGCT token is expanding to base. This is happening very soon on the 31st. But the bigger picture here that I hope you understand is that Legacy Network is doing what not many other crypto projects are doing. They are redefining the future of learning, making education as engaging and accessible as entertainment. As I said, expanding to the base ecosystem on the 31st. There's a lot of momentum going on with this project. I don't think most people know 800,000 plus downloads of the Legacy Academy app. This is something you can download today. 4.6 out of 5-star rating across all app stores. That's pretty good. In fact, Legacy Network has raised $20 million for ecosystem growth, so they have a lot of runway, well funded. And despite market conditions, the LGCT token remains strong. So the Legacy Academy app is actual real utility for the token and the network. There's a subscription/revenue model going live very soon. So understand the token itself, it's not just another cryptocurrency. It's the cornerstone of Legacy Network's gamified education platform designed to integrate blockchain, education, and user engagement. Their token offers practical applications across various touch points, including ecosystem utility, subscription, and purchases across Legacy's products, with a portion of this revenue supporting ongoing development, while the rest is burnt via smart contract, reducing supply and increasing demand. Gamified incentives: users earn their token by achieving milestones, completing quests, and climbing leaderboards, blending education with rewards to create a fun and engaging experience. Enterprise integration: their token facilitates seamless access to professional development tools, enhancing its value in the business-to-business applications. And also scalable demand: the token's consistent utility across services ensures stability and growth beyond speculative market influences. This token has a lot going for it. They're just about to expand to the base ecosystem. This is a project you should get on your radar. Check out their website, download the app. I'll leave links below. Make sure you check them out and you tell me what you think. So I think Bitcoin hits at least $150,000 before 2025 is over. But, given enough time, I think Bitcoin hits millions.
I can stand here and I can tell you that I think the price of Bitcoin will go to 13 million over 20 years. And so Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin is actually the commodity. I studied commodities in my early professional years, Every other commodity can be created with technology, with capital, with know-how. If you were going to take your family's life savings and buy a commodity to hold for 100 years, and you thought about it, would you buy soybeans or corn or oil or natural gas or lumber, coal, silver? Well, no, they're all awful, and you know why they're awful, because it's pretty obvious to you that 100 years ago it was harder to make those things than it is today. And if the price of oil goes to $1,000 a barrel, we're going to frack it, triple frack it, hyper frack it, and we'll drive the price of oil down.
It's actually a very good idea to adopt Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Even the Chainlink founder thinks that this is a no-brainer. It's amazing to see the industry coming together around this idea.
So from the earliest days of the Bitcoin industry, it was called digital gold. From the very, very beginning, even in the 2010 period when I joined the industry, it was digital gold. The main reserve asset of central banks is gold. I mean, it's not that big of a leap. You have gold, you have digital gold. Frankly, people have kind of already adopted this idea that Bitcoin is a kind of scarce digital gold that, just like real gold, is inversely correlated with some forms of traditional system collapse or traditional system failure or risk. This is one of, or if not the main thesis of Bitcoin's value, is that it is a hedge against other traditional systems. Basically the same thesis that most people that buy gold have, is that it's a kind of hedge against various traditional system failures. I think it might not be as hard of a sell as it seems. The speculative nature of Bitcoin makes it more difficult. But gold also has a highly speculative nature. So I think there are already certain factors and ideas that are heavily in favor of this mental leap. And it might really not be as big of a mental leap. It might be more of like a mental jump. And at a certain point, a mental hop and a skip. That's probably where folks that see Bitcoin as a possible reserve currency would take this.
My name is Aaron. This is Altcoin Daily. Subscribe to the channel. See you tomorrow.